Everybody, Mark McKelvey here, and I want to walk you through a new feature that we're releasing for DataHub called Models. Models allow users to select, combine, and transform their source data. Now, why is this useful? Well, let's walk through an example. Suppose that I have a milling machine and I'm a maintenance manager, and this milling machine manufactures metal parts, produces metal parts. And what I'd really like to do is set up a usage-based maintenance program based on the total number of parts produced. So for that, I can come in here and create a work order trigger. And let's say that I want to kick off a work order to service the machine after every 100 parts produced. So I'm gonna go ahead and specify 100, and I'm going to give it a title, service machine, and save that. Now, to specify or record the meter readings, I have a couple options. Number one, I could go out and manually update these meter readings. I could have a tech take a look at a gauge or a display or something like that on the shop floor, and then enter the meter reading value accordingly. Unfortunately, that's very manual and tedious, error-prone, and time-consuming. So what I'd really like to do is pursue the second option, which is connect my meter to my machine directly, and for that I can use DataHub. So the good news is this particular machine is controlled by a PLC, so we can in fact connect it to Upkeep via DataHub by creating a source, which I have set up here. So I've created a source for this particular milling machine, specified a source vendor ID, given it that unique identifier that we need, and we've hooked up all the hardware on the back end. This particular source has one property, and that's parts. So let's assume that this machine sends us the number of parts produced at any given point in time. So it sends us, if one part was produced, it'll send us a reading of 1. If 5 parts were produced, it'll send us a reading of 5. And if it was 25, and so on. Now that's great, but it poses a little bit of a problem because we don't need the number of parts produced at any given point in time. What we need is the running total of parts produced. That's what we need in order to drive this usage-based maintenance program, and that's unfortunately not what we have coming out of our PLC. The good news is we can use a model to get that number. So what I can do is I can come to the Models tab, and then I can create a model. Let's call this our milling machine total parts. And let's go ahead and give this a description. And then let's specify the source for this model. Models can have multiple sources because you can combine them, but for this case, we just need one, and that's going to be our milling machine. And the property that we're going to be using here is our parts property. And in order to get that running total, we're going to apply what's called an accumulator transformation. And this accumulator transformation is going to do exactly what we want, which is it's going to calculate a running total for the source values that come in from our PLC. So I'm going to go ahead and click Done there, and then I'm going to specify a name for this particular property of my model, and it's going to be total parts, and the unit is going to be quantity, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now I need to get that model data connected to my meter, so I'm going to go ahead and create a sync, just as I would have created before. Only this time, instead of syncing a source directly, I'm going to sync a model. So I'm going to select the model that we just created, the milling machine total parts, and then I'm going to send that to my Upkeep meters destination, and I'm going to send it to the meter that we want to update, which is this milling machine total parts meter. So let's go here and let's find that. Milling machine total parts, I'm going to click Save, and we are good to go. So now, let's go ahead and generate some test readings. And let's come back to our meter. All right, and I'm going to send a test reading of 25 parts created. So what I should expect on this history page is 25 parts, 25 quantity. All right, so I just sent a reading from our PLC. And let's let's see what we got. Great, we got 25 coming in, and that's exactly what we would expect. So now let's suppose I get another reading of 25. Without models, we would just have another reading of 25 right here. But with models, let's see what we get. All right, we got 50. So it's adding the new value to the previous value. It's giving us that running total. All right, let's do it again. We should see 75 now. And let's do it one more time. To get to 100. And now I can see that I just had a work order created per the trigger once I hit that 100 value. So I can come over to my work orders tab and I can see that the work order has been created. Service machine, as expected. Again, 100% automated from machine to DataHub to meters to the work order. No manual intervention required. And again, we're able to transform that data and make it valuable and useful for our users.